we live and breathe in property. Being able to work on a prime development in central London, their like starting price is like 1.1 million.
Wow.
Modular buildings, you just stack it like Lego, save so much time. I actually applied for Disney Channel.
Hey guys, and welcome back to the Pennies to Pounds podcast with your host Kia. And this is a podcast where we aim to dispel your myths, simplify difficult financial jargon, and rectify your own personal problems. Happy Monday, everyone. I hope you've had an amazing weekend. And I'm really excited to bring you another incredible episode. But one exciting thing I need to put in there is that my book, which is here, How to Handle Money, is officially publishing in the UK on the 10th of October. That is next week. I cannot believe it. I've got my copy here and I just think it's absolutely insane. And the more I go through it, I know I wrote it, I go through it and I'm like, wow, this is such an amazing book, if I do say so myself. So if you want to grab your copy, it's still available for pre-order. The link will be down below or in the episode description. And we're also having a party. So if you want to come and celebrate with us, I'm also going to talk about the book writing process, what that looks like if you're interested to write a book, everything in between. We're going to have a celebratory party on the 11th of October. The link is also in the episode description, so you can grab your ticket and come along. It'll be in East London. But enough of my ramble. Let's go ahead to this amazing episode. So I'm going to bring you to my incredible guest. Guest, who are you?
My name's Felicia. I am 20 years old, working in real estate. I've been in the industry for about 3 years now, so started when I was 17. And in London, I've taken the degree apprenticeship route within real estate, which is so niche and it's not really like heard of. So I'm excited to delve into a bit of that.
I'm excited to delve into it with you too, because like you said, it is very niche when it comes to the real estate side of things. Mm-hmm. So talk us through, I like to hear people's journey when they're younger, because I think it really defines and you can understand people much better. So what was your upbringing like? How were you in school? What did that look like for you?
I actually grew up in northwest London, so like Camden. I actually grew up there until I was about like 13. And then like living in London was like so good, I think. I had a really nice like primary school experience. It was very diverse with like the school I went to, like infant school, primary school. Then I did year 7 in London for a bit, but then my family bought a property outside of London in the East Midlands, so we moved there. So that was about like 9 years ago now. Brand new environment there. It's like I was like one of the few black people, not even just black girls, but like black people in a predominantly white school. So it's like that was a big culture shock for me. Yeah, and imagine I'm like 13. So it's like I'm so used to being in a diverse like school, whereas now it's so different. But to be honest, I adapted to it absolutely fine. It was also really inspiring because my family bought their first property. It's a really nice like 4-bedroom house, garden. Both parents have been very supportive and everything of the journey and like transition. We're in sixth form, having to decide what to do, like going into university or anything. And I've always had that passion like for property within me. When I was younger, I wanted to be a triple threat, like dancer, singer, actor, but obviously that's just complete.
So you wanted to be in the theatre, be a performer?
Kind of, yeah, I did. So it's like completely different to what I'm doing now with my life. I actually applied for Disney Channel. This is like
you applied for Disney. We're just uncovering the gems now. You applied for Disney Channel. How did that go?
So I got invited to London. It was a hotel in London, like in Mayfair. I can't remember the name, but if I walk past it, I will remember. But I literally got invited to there and there was a bunch of other kids, different age ranges, and they had the guy that like got Sky Jackson and Peyton List a role. So he was the one that basically did an audition with us, and we were given like a script that we had to like memorize. And this was like the first time in my life I've really put myself out there. So it was proper like I have to come out of my shell now. And I did gymnastics. So I tried to like pull a little trick to try and impress them. So we had a script from a Disney Channel show and we had to play the character, and it was like a key important thing is eye contact. Like I want eye contact, guys. Like I'll be able to tell if you're the one via eye contact. I'm quite nervous when it comes to eye contact at that young age, but it was like such an amazing experience. I didn't get through to the other round, unfortunately, but it was a really
But it's a good lesson, and it's a good experience that most people haven't had.
Yeah.
That you can take away, and I think everyone who is confident, like doing what you do requires confidence now. Mm-hmm. But everyone who's in that position, I think has done something that's helped them come out of their shell. Mm-hmm. So that's why I love asking about people and their upbringing. This is great. Now let's come to a bit more present day. Mm-hmm. You mentioned you went to sixth form, and I went to sixth form too. And in sixth form, I said before that I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I think it is massive to us 17, 18-year-olds to decide the rest of their lives, basically, at that moment. But I had no idea. I just went to university because everyone was talking about university, and I was like, cool, I'll just do French and business, and that's what I studied at university. How did you find out about your apprenticeship? Did you have to search for it? Did your sixth form bring that to you? What did that process look like?
The whole process of me like even discovering apprenticeships, my sixth form specifically was so like adamant everyone should go to university. They'd always do talks on UCAS, how to make your personal statement perfect. And I was really put off of the traditional route of going to university, just because online there's so many like negative experiences that have been shared, like the fact you're going into debt, and also the really slim chances of being able to secure a role from the industry that you would be in when you graduate. So that really put me off. I worked as well. Actually, I did a role at JD when I was like 16. And then I worked in a hospital as a catering assistant. So I was so used to like working and getting an income, like making money, saving. I was starting those habits from early. So university, then having to throw those habits kind of out of the window, almost being on survival mode, really put me off. So then I was thinking, what's an alternative way to go about this? So I did speak to my early career advisor, and I was telling her, like, I'm really interested in HR initially. I was not even that, like, knowledgeable of what HR is like. I know it had negative connotations, but I also told her I also really want to get into real estate. Like, how could I mix the two together? And she was telling me different university degrees to go for. But then I was just like to her, I really want to work, though. And she was like, there's apprenticeship opportunities, but she didn't know if there were any in real estate. So I worked in a local estate agents on the weekends whilst I was in sixth form. And through that experience, it was just so amazing. Like, it was my first step into the industry, and I was really getting into working. I was drawing floor plans. I was working with my colleagues in sales and lettings. The small basics as well, learning phone etiquette, going on inspections as well, actually inspecting tenanted properties and feeding back to the landlord to let them know, oh, this is the condition that the tenants left it in, writing up like memorandum of sales. Like, it was a really foundational experience, and it made me think, wow, this is what I like. But then what I thought of was the fact there's not much career progression if I stay in an estate agents. So I met surveyors who'd always come into the office, and that I never knew what a surveyor was before. So I did my research on that, and this whole surveying world, which was so new to me, no one's ever spoken about what a chartered surveyor is. It interested me, and I was like, okay, well, how can I even get into this? So I saw the routes was going to do a degree, but I wanted to work. So then I knew there was an apprenticeship. So I was like, okay, is there a real estate apprenticeship? So my vision was literally me working as an apprentice in a real estate firm, but I did not know it even existed. So I went onto like LinkedIn, searching the keywords like real estate apprentice. It came up with people who were actually real estate apprentices, and it was just so perfect. I started messaging them saying, oh, how was your experience like? I'm really keen to get into this type of pathway now knowing it exists. I searched up top firms in the UK. It came up with like companies like CBRE, Savills, Knight Frank, JLL, and then I checked their career pages and see if they've got vacancies. And I saw they do offer degree apprenticeships, and vacancies were coming out soon. Some already had them. Like, everything was in perfect timing.
It was just aligning.
It was aligning. It was really aligning. And like, I'm a very faithful person. Like, I've got a personal relationship with God. So I was always praying about this as well. I was like, I know that you have a higher purpose for me. Like, I know I'm blessed and I'm highly favored.
I love that. Yeah. That's incredible. And I love the fact that you went out and you found that for yourself. Because like I said, I've said it many times. It's hard to know at that age, and there isn't always that much guidance if you aren't just trying to go down the university route. So it's great to hear that you have carved that path and you took the initiative yourself. Yeah. Let's talk about current day now. Okay. What does a typical day look like for a degree apprentice like you who works in real estate?
So day in their life is so different. Like, my day can always change. How things work is I actually work 4 days a week, and I study on one day, which is a Friday. So I have an online university that I would log into and do my degree studies. But in my working day, it's always like I manage my own diary. You know how you have like Rightmove, Zoopla on the market? I actually post listings on there for our like clients, which is basically the developer of the different schemes. I'm in the build to rent team right now. So we work with clients who are building like build to build to rent development. I feel like I'm doing a bit of tongue twisters here.
It is build to rent. That's hard. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in build to rent right now. So my typical day would be in the morning. I would catch up with my team, give them feedback on how the previous week went with viewings, and then I'd refresh my listings on Rightmove, Zoopla, on the market, so I can actually get inquiries. And then inquiries directly come to my inbox, and I would on email, and I'd give them a call. I'd qualify them, ask them questions because it's for rentals. I'll ask them questions like, oh, how long are you looking to rent for? How many bedrooms? How many people? What's your budget? Are you working full time or self-employed? And what is the annual income? Because I'd want to save their time and my time and make sure they are qualified before I actually book them in for a viewing. And if they're qualified, I'll book them in, and I pretty much manage my own diary from there. I'd put them in. I'm actually on 3 different developments right now, personally. So pretty much manage all 3 of them. So I'd make sure my day works well with being at one site and another site. Convert them into offers when they come for viewing, send the offer to the client, and then agree moving dates, get their contracts over from the team, and always liaise with them throughout the whole process to make sure it's comfortable and smooth. And then sometimes my team and my company in general is so sociable, so we always have events. I used to do sales last year with them. So within that day in the life, it would be a little bit similar, but it's more slower pace because someone's buying a property. I used to work with shared ownership development where we'd have people coming in, conduct viewings with them there, and then their first time buyers, they just want to get onto the ladder. And then I later evolved into being able to work on a prime development in central London. Their starting price was 1.1 million.
Wow.
So imagine me
selling sunset stuff.
It was giving selling sunset. I was it's actually giving selling sunset. So it felt like a bit of my visions were coming to reality. I couldn't believe it because I was, at the time I worked there, I would have just turned 19. So it's I'm still so young, and being able to do that was just wow. Yeah.
I think it's great though because you've been exposed to so much, and even at your young age, you're able to see different levels that you can attain yourself.
Yeah.
Because I think you hear this phrase all the time that, you have to see it to believe it. So when you see things and you're in these spaces and you're around wealthy clients, you're you know what? One day, this 1.1 million building, this property could be mine.
Exactly.
It really does expand your horizon. So it's great to hear. I love a good dynamic, diverse day where things can change every day. So that sounds like a really fun day. When we talk about property, we know that the market's always changing and trends are always changing too. So how do you manage to stay on top of that alongside balancing your studies and your degree apprenticeship? Because I know that is a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot for someone who's working full-time property anyway.
Yeah.
To keep up with the trends. So how do you do that whilst also studying?
So of course, being young and coming into the industry, I want to make sure I'm as informed as possible because I don't want to have to advise a client, and me being young, kind of feeding into the stereotype of a young person not knowing anything, kind of let my age defy it. So a lot of the time people cannot even tell how old I am sometimes with clients. But a way that I do keep myself informed is I think it's really, really crucial for me to implement this into my daily routine. It keeps me informed. And one thing I do is keeping up to date with key publications. I'm signed up to a few. For example, every single morning at 6 a.m. in my email, I'll get something from a publication site called Prime Resi. And they pretty much send information out on what's going on in the prime property market. Also, just having really close-knit networks within my colleagues that I work with, speaking with them, how has things been going in your team's market, whether that's land, commercial, because I'm very residentially focused. So speaking with other teams just to kind of get a scope into what's going on in their market. Even watching YouTube videos, podcasts, that helps. I just think it's so, so important to stay informed because every single, the property market can be unpredictable sometimes. So you want to know what's going on. What is a good season for what at this point in time? And even now, I'm working in build to rent. This is an upcoming sector within property. There's so many different developments. As you walk around wherever you are in London, there's new developments being built.
All the time.
Exactly. And build to rent is booming right now. It's going to continue to thrive. Because obviously you've got housing shortages and people need to rent. You've got so much demand and not enough supply. So keeping myself informed via publications, YouTube, podcasts, my network is the key way that I keep myself informed on what's going on.
That's really good. And I love the fact that you take initiative
Thank you.
to stay up to date, because it is very, very, very important, and things are changing. At the drop of a hat, something can change.
Changing.
In terms of your experience, what has surprised you the most when it comes to whether it's real estate or just the different sectors that you've worked in so far? What surprised you the most?
One thing that sparked me to get into the industry is definitely like how it's so people orientated, and that like everyone's lives will somehow be related to real estate. I'd say like when I came in, I think with a lot of young people, they might think, oh, real estate is just residential. However, there's so much more to it. Like we're in a podcast studio right now. This is a form of real estate. It's asset. We've got like commercial spaces, pubs. You've got stadiums. You've got hotels. Like everything, office spaces, even like retail units. Everything is just real estate. One thing that's really opened up my eyes is the fact that we live and breathe in property. And I think it's so amazing how impactful buildings can be to all of our lives. It's not just bricks and mortar. It's actually like building the communities for people to thrive in, people to start their businesses, places for people to call home. That's something that definitely like surprised me, like when I joined so young. It's something we do without the professionals that like serve us with finding our first home, securing a property to have your business running in. Like it's just amazing. I find that so, so cool.
It is so crucial, but you don't realize how crucial it is until you're in that stage of buying your first property, or like you said, you need an office space, you want to start up your first restaurant. Then that's the first time you come in contact with an expert like yourself. But it is so key. Everything revolves around property, otherwise we'd all be on the streets, wouldn't we?
Literally.
So we would all be on the streets, so we do need it.
On the street.
Can you imagine just standing outside in a park trying to record this? Because we wouldn't have a place to do it. So it is so, so, so key.
Yeah.
With your experience and your knowledge then that you built up over the years, how would you say the property industry is adapting to accommodate the changes? So things like sustainability, housing shortages, what have you seen is changing? I mean, you touched on a little bit, you know, build to rent is booming, but what else would you say that you've come across?
Say the industry's definitely adapting, and it's always going to be a slow process. Key thing with sustainability is now you're seeing developers not taking it as a trend, but more as a priority. Like it's a key requirement that they should make the buildings that they're building very sustainable, whether that's having very green approaches, especially when you go into some developments, newly built properties, they have like the highest EPC rating, carbon footprint as well. Like the developers are now realizing that it's essential, and even within the industry as a whole, it's just not taking it as a trend anymore. It's more of a vital thing that they should incorporate. In my university, I actually get to study that as one of my modules.
That's cool.
So it's all about construction technology. So we've learned things about modern methods of construction, like the type of materials that are used in buildings compared to the previous traditional ways of building, and ways to improve efficiency, like using technology, even things with like virtual viewings. Like I actually wrote a whole essay on this, where how AI is changing things and like technology is changing things now to make it a lot more sustainable. Like you may have a development which attracts a lot of international clients, and to ease them having to actually fly out to come and see the property physically, you've got things where you can actually do virtual viewings. Even with like VR headsets now, they're developing things like that, which is so cool. And it's a more sustainable approach because people don't have to make that long journey. It decreases the carbon footprint, where they can just look on their phone. You literally see it on like Rightmove, all of these applications. You can literally do a virtual viewing. Like you can see as if you're walking in it. You click one part, you go through one door, you see the whole size. Like a floor plan has now been made 3D, whereas traditionally you've just got the floor plan and the pictures, where it's changing now. And regarding like housing shortages, you've got modular buildings now being made, where pretty much a lot of it is made in a factory, and then they'd bring it all to site, almost like a complete like block of how the apartment would be, and they stack it almost like Lego bricks. So that's saving so much time. It's so much costs of saved. Even the time, like, because weather, you can have rain that affects the whole construction process. So bringing modular buildings, you just stack it like Lego, saves so much time. And having mixed use developments as well, it quite helps with the housing shortages, because you've got like more vibrant communities. Developments are not just your old building with just flats. They're offering commercial units where you've got shops, cafes, gyms even. So it's just like improving the quality of life for people that want to live in new developments.
Your expertise and knowledge is incredible. That what you've acquired in this time is incredible. And it is great to know what's being done because me as a regular consumer, I don't work in real estate. I don't know. I just know what I know. But to hear from you the things that are changing, that are happening, I think virtual viewings is probably one of the best things to have come in recent years. I remember during lockdown that I wanted to get an office space and obviously you couldn't go and see things. And I remember someone said, oh, just take a virtual viewing. The letting agent said, yeah, just come and see a virtual viewing. Here's the link. And I said, that's insane.
I know, right?
And it was exactly the same when I finally got to see it in person. I said, this is exactly what you sent me.
It's crazy.
This is crazy. And you're right. It really does help sustainability. Not having to fly halfway across the world to come and see something. See it online. Decide if you want it. Then you can take that trip. And it's, less carbon footprints, all of that. Amazing.
It's crazy how all of that can just link.
All intertwined. I love it. So you have been doing some incredible things.
Thank you.
Hearing your journey is amazing. So I want to ask you, what is your ultimate goal when it comes to real estate and your apprenticeship? Where do you see yourself being maybe in 10, 15 years time?
I think this apprenticeship has definitely helped me build the foundations of my career and just general knowledge of the industry, meeting really key clients and my colleagues. So I think I'm definitely wanting to use that to my strength, like building those relationships with people. I obviously make content on social media, so I share my journey on like TikTok predominantly, a bit on YouTube as well. So I definitely want to grow that, and maybe like recently actually, I've been making videos of developments, like actually doing walkthroughs. Started a new series called Renting in London. So I posted a build to rent development that I've worked at and pretty much showcased the amenities it offers, their pricing, because they're doing like a 20% discount whilst the station's closed. And from that video, because I made it so informative, I actually had inquiry from it.
That's good.
So someone from America was moving down, a lawyer, and they basically said, oh, I'd love to have a viewing of the property. So things like that, like being able to generate leads for myself, not just relying on Rightmove. I think that's something I really want to try and push forward for. That's even in the present. That's not even in the future. I'm trying to do that now. Like my team and my like director of our residential team is actually wanting me to do this. So it's really nice that those seniors are wanting me to really tap into my creativity and benefit myself and them. But I do want to like buy a property, definitely. That's always been on my bucket list. So I'm really trying to budget and save. Even your tips has helped me so much within that journey. You might not be tapped into property, but you're helping me know which way
I'm
to
glad
get
I'm still part of your journey. That means a lot.
So it's like that is one key thing.
Before we round up, what would be your one tip to leave our listeners with? So young people who want to get into real estate, it might not be apprenticeship wise, but just anyone who's thinking, I really want to get into it, but I don't know how to. What's your one tip?
My one tip is definitely to put yourself out there. Get networking. Don't be afraid. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. That's one thing I had to do. Because if you stay in your comfort zone, there's only so much opportunities that can be available for you. Put yourself out there, definitely. Number 2 would be to use your youthness to your strength. Like, make that your strength, because you being young and entering a big space is actually a huge strength. Like, some people see it as a weakness. Some people see it as, oh, unfortunately, I'm so young. But it's actually a huge strength. Like, being Gen Z, there's so much value we can bring to the old traditional ways of how people are in the property space. So that can definitely be beneficial. So I think don't be discouraged by being young and wanting to start young, because if you wait like longer thinking, oh yeah, I'll get into it maybe when I'm in my like later 20s, then it's like when you could do it now, when you have the opportunity to do it now, just take it now.
Take it. As young as you are, just go ahead and start now.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome. This was so fun.
This was incredible. I had a great conversation with you.
Thank you.
For everyone listening and watching, where can they find you to see more of your journey and what you're building?
So you can find me on TikTok. I'm called She Corporate, or you can search Mary Felicia. And YouTube, Mary Felicia, and Instagram, Mary Felicia, and LinkedIn, Mary Felicia.
Amazing. Thank you so much for joining the podcast.
Thank you.
And to everyone listening and watching, we'll be back again next week with another episode. Bye, guys.